Liz Hill. Welcome to Podsnappery, the willful determination to ignore the objectionable or inconvenient, at the same time assuming airs of superior virtue and noble resignation. We explore things I find interesting, unusual, or annoying. So let's get down to it and spill the tea. If you remember last episode, I was really fixated on the whole book banning thing. In doing the research, we found one resounding principle that is being used to justify the removal of books: pornography.
Oh, that word.
Originally described as obscenity, the first appearance of the term pornography appears in the dictionary in 1864.
What?
Right? The pompous, stuck-up, prude-like Victorians. Well, the Victorian era was characterized by a paradox of rigid morality and anti-sensualism, but also by an obsession with sex. But what is the definition of pornography?
Pornography? What's that?
I think that's like the study of porn.
Friends, that is where we need to start so we can have a common frame of reference, okay? Right, so pornography can be described as
Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Chicka, wow. Wow, ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow, wow, ow, ow, wow, ow.
well, yes. But specifically, the Oxford Dictionary defines pornography as printed or visual material containing the explicit description or display of sexual organs or activity, intended to stimulate erotic rather than aesthetic or emotional feelings.
Boom, chicka, wow, wow. Chicka, wow, ow, wow, wow. A chicka, bow, bow, bow. Chicka, wow, wow. A chicka, bow, wow, bow. Chicka, wow, wow. Chicka, bow, chicka, bow. Chicka, wow, wow.
Yes. Merriam-Webster goes a bit further, describing pornography as 1. The depiction of erotic behavior, as in pictures or writing, intended to cause sexual excitement. 2. Material, such as books or a photograph, that depicts erotic behavior and is intended to cause sexual excitement. 3. The depiction of acts in a sensational manner so as to arouse a quick, intense emotional reaction. Not to be outdone, the Urban Dictionary has several contributed definitions. Here are our favorites. 1. Educational programming recommended junior high students who need to see how it's done. 2. A collection of DVDs stored in your dad's closet marked baby pictures. 3. 95% of the websites on the internet. 4. The reason why the family computer is always slow. Look in the job application folder in Dad's work stuff, and you'll find a lot of it. 5. Graphic depiction that has no artistic merit and that leads to sexual thought, which is basically every commercial I have ever seen. And the list goes on with over 50 entries. But let's get back to my point. The Florida statute we previously referenced, SB 1467, states, book selections to be free of pornography and prohibited materials harmful to minors, suited to students' needs and appropriate for the grade level and age group. Now, Utah's HB 374 has a similar ring, but is quite verbose, with some humorous misspellings.
It's porno, not pronto.
So the Utah legislature thinks, and I quote, with access and addiction to pornography increasing among Utah children, the average age of first exposure and addiction to pornography among young people reaching prepubescent levels, and an increasing online threat of porn to the health, development, and welfare of youth, the Utah State Legislature has taken very positive and proactive measures to address the threat of pornography to school children. Wow. What a mouthful. You could say that again.
Don't you ever say that.
So the legislature is justifying the why. Let's look at the what. Library books in Utah public schools are prohibited if they are pornographic or indecent as defined under one of the 3 state statutes. Ah, I see what you did there, Utah. Let's complicate things by breaking it into 3 different laws. The first is harmful to minors. The quality of any description or representation in whatsoever form of nudity, sexual conduct, sexual excitement, or sadomasochistic abuse when it, A, taken as a whole, appeals to the prurient interest in sex of minors, B, is patently offensive to prevailing standards in the adult community as a whole with respect to what is suitable material for minors, and C, taken as a whole, does not have serious value for minors.
On the whole, I think Preparation H feels good.
The second is any material or performance is pornographic if A, the average person applying contemporary community standards finds that, taken as a whole, it appeals to the prurient interest in sex. B, it is patently offensive in the description or depiction of nudity, sexual conduct, sexual excitement, sadomasochistic abuse, or excretion. And C, taken as a whole, it does not have serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. And finally, description or depiction of illicit sex or sexual immorality means A, human genitals in a state of sexual stimulation or arousal. B, acts of human masturbation, sexual intercourse, or sodomy. C, fondling or other erotic touching of human genitals or pubic region. Or D, fondling or other erotic touching of the human buttocks or female breast. Okay, that was a lot, and I need a minute. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor.
Feeling sassy? Cat 09. Saucy and savvy? Cat 09. Need to spice up your life at sea? Cat 09. Do you have an insolent crew member or an entire crew of men begging to be punished? Cat 09. How about that woman accused of witchcraft? Or prisoner you need to break? Try Cat 09. These state-of-the-art whips are sure to have your man screaming for his mommy. Cat 09. If you can't take a hit, don't be on a ship.
We're back. Thanks for staying with me on this one. So, now we kind of understand what they are considering pornography, or at the very least, our sponsor does. So, how are state governments using this broad definition as a weapon to ban books? Now, most of the books that have been banned are for a specific age group. For example, the top 6 most banned books according to PEN America are Genderqueer, All Boys Aren't Blue, Out of Darkness, The Bluest Eye, The Lawn Boy, and The Hate You Give. Some of these books are written through the experience of hardships, exposure to prejudice, racism, incest, and coming to terms with who the authors really are in terms of self-identification. But parents, community standards, school boards, etc., flag these books for profanity and explicit content, homoerotic content, child molestation, sexual assault, drunkenness, racism and incest, violence, mentions of sex, and masturbation. In the case of Genderqueer, Maria Kobabe wrote the memoir about a journey through gender identity and sexuality. There are a few explicit illustrations depicting Kobabe's sexual discovery, and many parents and conservative media figures have complained about the book. For fuck's sake, people. These are not for every child in K through 12. Yet they rubber stamp a demographic as broad as the Grand fucking Canyon so they can shoehorn literature into their neat little definition of pornography to remove it. However, if you're going to go down this road, you might not like it when the shoe is on the other foot. Exhibit A, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is learning the hard way as his book is being put through the same scrutiny as all the others thanks to his law. Florida House Minority Leader Fentress Driscoll, a Democrat, is now leading the effort to have 50 Florida counties review DeSantis' own book. The Courage to Be Free, Florida's Blueprint for America's Revival. Driscoll was quoted, "The very trap that he set for others is the one that he set for himself." Driscoll has cited 17 potential violations of HB 1467 in DeSantis's book, including references to gender ideology and systemic racism, as well as descriptions of violence, all of which could be reasoning for the book to be reviewed by Florida schools.
One ill turn deserves another.
Now, as we mentioned last week, districts in Texas and Utah are reviewing the Bible, which may result in a ban of that book. But why the Bible? Why this paragon of virtue that people place their hand on to take oaths of office or swear on to tell the truth, the whole truth, and you get the idea. Could there be pornography in the Bible?
Well, the Bible says a lot of things, you know?
Jesus Christ!
Hey, how's it going?
Jesus, doesn't the Bible say these people are an abomination?
Abomination?
Yeah, but you know, it says the exact same thing about this shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail.
Leviticus says shellfish is an abomination.
Abomination!
What else does the Bible say, Jesus?
The Bible says a lot of interesting things. Like you can stone your wife or sell your daughter into slavery.
Well, we ignore those verses.
Well then, friend, it seems to me you pick and choose. Pick and choose. Well, please choose love instead of hate. Besides, your nation was built on separation of church and state. See you later, sinners.
Bye, Jesus. Bye, Jesus. I love you, Jesus.
Yes, the Bible does say a lot of things. And since I thought you might ask, I have selected just 4 sections. Trust me, there are more. But I think this might help you understand what these parents are talking about. We start with one of the weirder books in the Bible, and we say that with a pillar of salt. Ezekiel, who is a visionary and possibly God's first experiment with LSD. In Ezekiel, God is pissed about Israel's idolatry and immorality, such as all the jewelry that Judah, the town who is described as an adulterous wife/prostitute for some reason, is turning into dildos. Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 17. You also took the fine jewelry I gave you, the jewelry made of my gold and silver, and you made for yourself male idols and engaged in prostitution with them. Spouses, am I right? I mean, talk about being an inconsiderate. You take the time and money to give some nice bling to your trouble and strife, and they go ahead and turn them into a schwanz and treat it like the village bike. Next time, maybe go with flowers or an air fryer.
What is this?
Next, in an attempt to avoid loose women who will surely ruin you with their words of oil and honey, Proverbs tries to teach men to love their wives, whom they've had since they were young. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 19. A loving doe, a graceful deer, may her breast satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love. Aw, that's actually kind of sweet. Unless we're still talking about the deer. Then, yeah, that's just cringe.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Many have probably read or heard about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Feel free to read the whole thing in the book of Genesis if you're so inclined. This next bit I'm paraphrasing from Genesis chapter 19, verse 5. If you have ever read Genesis, you'll thank me. So, in a nutshell, God sent 2 angels to Sodom to see if it was really as wicked as he read on PerezHilton.com. Spoiler alert, it was. The angels, in the guise of, you guessed it, old men, stayed with Lot. And once word got out, the entire city came to Lot's door demanding to know the angels. No, in this instance, probably means sex. The same Hebrew word was used in Judges in regard to a group of men raping a woman to death, which scholars are fairly sure doesn't mean they asked her about her Etsy blog. Side note, the Bible was written by old men, right?
I shall now read from the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Duck.
Now it was written by the authors that these two angels are disguised as old men, and the entire city wants to make it with them? Ego much? Anyway, Lot, ever the good host, offered his virgin daughters to the angry mob instead, but the mob refuses. Someone please take Lot's Father of the Year award away already. The angels at this point are like,
"Screw you guys, I'm going home."
The angels blinded the men, both young and old, wishing to know them, so they couldn't find the door.
Who's there?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, but do you think an angry, horny mob of men are going to let blindness stop them? Did the authors of this tale truly believe that blind people are incapable of finding things via touch and opening doors?
I was going to make espresso.
In the end, it doesn't matter if they did, because God destroys the city. I wonder if that's why Christians call themselves God-fearing.
God-fearing, right? Church every Sunday. All of us, God-fearing people. We're scared to death.
Most theologians will tell you this story is used to condemn homosexuality. But here's the thing. Why would you offer two women, virgins mind you, to a mob of angry gay men? Do you really think that is going to appease them? Also, not that we don't find silver foxes bangable, but well, this seems more like a case of insane violence than a fun gay orgy. But I digress. My last entry for your consideration is also from Genesis, chapter 19, verse 30. After Sodom was destroyed, Lot took his two daughters with him to go live in a cave, like you do. Then one day his older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth. Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father." Think about it. They date raped their dad. Now, according to the text, they took turns lying with their father over 2 consecutive nights. The authors made a point here that the daughters did not rape their dad together, because that would be creepy, right?
Well, that's a start.
Yep, that's the Bible for you. I'm guessing you can understand where those parents are coming from now. Honestly, I can't help but feel that a lot of the people pushing these book bans are living in glass houses while throwing stones.
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
No, they shouldn't. Especially when someone as creepy as fuck says that. So, I think I can sum this up for you. If, as a parent, you are concerned about your child reading a certain book, the simple solution, and I believe this is an option everywhere, is to just put in a request that your child is not allowed to check out or read that particular book. This way, your choices are respected, while others are still allowed to choose for themselves. In my mind, you can't have it both ways. Either you allow parents to enforce their views on their own children, or you allow a few parents to enforce their views on all children. Subjecting the many to the whims of the few. Put another way, controlling interest from those with the willful determination to ignore the objectionable or inconvenient, at the same time assuming airs of superior virtue and noble resignation. And that, my friends, is definitely Podsnappery. Thanks for watching. I'm Liz Hill. You're never too old to learn something stupid.
home.